Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about me and this is my channel, right? But over the weekend on Saturday I went over 10 million feet of climbing, and this is the bike I rode when Tommy was in town, and he was on his steel bike, and of course if you haven't seen any of the videos, he's got a lot of heart issues and he's got a pacemaker. So I figured, okay, I'll ride my heaviest bike to kind of level off the playing field. And so here it is. I'm trying to put it on the scale, and let's see if I can get that balanced out. So there it is, about 27, almost 27 and a half pounds. And for those in the rest of the world, I guess some people get all grumpy because I don't do kgs. So there's your kgs, 12.4543. But, 80+% of my viewers are in the US. So there's the pounds, 12. Oh, and this is ounces. So some people think that those are tenths. No, it's actual ounces. So 8 ounces is half a pound. So yeah, 2 bottles, Chris King wheels, Ultegra group set, the Gilbertude saddle that I've been breaking in, toolkit, all the basic stuff. You got a Silka pump and all of the computers and stuff. Yeah, so 2707. And then for the kg people, oh, sorry, I rocked the bike a little bit. All right, 12.44. All right, well, let's move on from that, because and now I've had people ask me about that, the weight of that bike, so I thought, well, might as well cover it since people are asking about it. But well, that's Jess and I on this morning's 65-miler, 60-something miler. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is right here. All time, so 10,011,224 feet. Now I've talked about this before when I got 100,000 miles on Strava. Not all of my rides are on here. There's a lot of rides. Actually, anything that's under about 15 miles, I don't even count. I don't record it. I don't upload it. Maybe a 15 miler, but definitely rides that are sub 10, unless there's like a real reason for them. For example, if I'm doing a relay race and I've got a 6-mile climb that I'm doing during that relay race, or maybe a 6-mile descent that I may be doing. But generally speaking, if it's just a 10-mile ride going, to coffee or something like that, I generally don't upload it, but it's probably on there. And then also, I think I bugged a few people because I don't ride Zwift. So these are all outside miles and all outside elevation. Some people get grumpy about that. I've lost some subscribers, Troy Clayton being one of them. Hey, you know what? There is a big difference between inside and outside. I do not have to spell it out for people. People that ride indoors and their trainer miles accumulate, that's a different situation. And also their trainer elevation. I've known people who rig the system, ride Mount Ventoux, get about 5,000 feet of climbing, and then they shut down the computer or shut down the ride. They don't go down the other side because it's virtual. And also they've figured out how to hack the system and do Ventoux more frequently than it's actually offered. So that kind of stuff is just cheesy. Get out and ride outside. So here is just the stats for this year: 114 rides, and so that's looking like almost 70 miles per ride. And then the elevation gain, you can figure that out, probably, I don't know, 50 or 5,000 feet per ride, 6,000 feet per ride. So that is for 100. So 100,000 miles was a few months ago, and then 10 million feet of climbing. Now, from the best of my knowledge, this is only going back to, so I did a few rides in 2010 that are actually documented here, but nothing really substantial. So if you look back, really it was 2011 when I started tracking a lot more of my stats on Strava. And basically that's because I really wasn't riding a GPS unit. I was riding a lot of a polar unit. And so a lot of the, like for example here on 2011, there's only 18 rides for 2011. So, and then 2012, what do we got here? Yeah, so 2012, 134 rides and 359,000 feet. So it does accumulate over time. It does accumulate. And so if we go back to 2023, so 614,000. And this year has not been about climbing. I knew that PvP did not have any mountains. So most of my training rides were longer training rides without much elevation, although you can't avoid it here in San Diego. But, getting out and maybe doing a 100-mile or 150-mile with only like 5,000 feet of climbing just to spend time in the saddle and get the miles in. So the ride I did it on was this ride here, and this was Palomar Mountain. And if we look down here, I'll see if I can blow this up a little bit. So it's about a 5,000 foot climb, at least the way I do it. And so it was 8,500 feet for that day, but most of it was on the front end. So you can see from here over most of the climbing, because the rest of it just has a lot of downhill. There's a good steep one here that's called cold grade, and that's a good one. It's double digits for a little bit, a mile and a half maybe out of the full 3-mile climb, I guess. So yeah, this was the ride, and I took Tommy on it. And let's take a look at Tommy. And if you have not been watching the channel, this gentleman right here, this was his first mountain. So I wanted to get him on a mountain and my 10 million foot day on the same day. And and unfortunately the weather was horrendous. I don't know that I've got any good pictures of that. Let me see. Yeah, the weather was just really bad. Let me see if this will work. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, it was just rainy and windy and cold and yeah. So I have a video coming up of Tommy's visit here in San Diego, and I'll get that posted, and if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get the notifications. But it was not a pretty day. As a matter of fact, a lot of the people that were on the mountain that same day, they got a ride in 15 passenger vans. So again, outside miles compared to inside miles, yeah, there's a significant difference when a crash is I don't know, a very high potential for a crash when roads are super slick. It was this foamy white stuff. If anyone can tell me what that is, that foamy white stuff. Now, one thing I wanted to show you folks, I don't know if you've got this plugin, and I forgot how I got this plugin, but if you click on this, it will give you these extended stats. And let's see if this will take, there it is. So on the ride itself, it'll go through all of this other stuff. So you got heart rate data, speed data, which is going to be pretty much worthless on a mountain day like it was. Power data, I was riding with Tommy. He's got a pacemaker, so we just got to keep everything, zone 2 or below. Cadence, grade, how much percent of the ride was spent climbing, how much was flat and how much was downhill, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so climbing time 442, flat time 149, and so on and so on. So this is a really cool plugin. I don't remember how I got it. I might be able to find that out if anyone's interested. So drop a comment down below if you're interested in finding out. Let me see what this says. Nope, that doesn't help either. But that is all for today. 10 million feet since signing up for Strava, just a tiny bit in 2010, a little bit more in 2011, then really strong from 2012 to 2023. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you've got some mileage goals this year. Let me know if you've got some elevation goals this year, whether they be for the year or as an all-time achievement. I wonder if you folks have looked at this, because the challenge is if we're all on our phones, then you don't get this data. This is on the desktop version. So if you want to get your all-time mileage, you look on your desktop version and you'll get your all-time and your elevation, your longest ride and your biggest climb, all that stuff. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe. Coming up later this week is the REV show on Wednesday night. Then we've got a few other things coming up for Thursday and Friday. So like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I've posted another video. We'll see you up the road.